awesome music.
Or you go ahead and you use the time on the clock. You make sure nobody offers you a Herschel Walker type deal. But the bottom line, at some point, you have to tell your fans, this is our guy. And I really believe, in the end, it's going to be Alex Smith. And he, Mel, Boomer, is the right guy.
Well, but there is a big, right, Mel, there are 6, 7 different opinions on who might be ranked number 1. What do you have?
This year may be like, and you look about going back 25, 30 years, unlike any other in terms of fluid boards, nobody agreeing, no consensus, no defined, clear-cut number 1. My guy, Mike Williams, did not even play football this year, sat out the year, but in 2002 and 2003, he dominated the Pac-10. His average per catch for his career, better than Rayland Edwards. You talk about speed, he's got enough. Ronnie Brown, you look at a complete football player. Didn't start, but he did in 2002 when Cadillac was hurt, and he put up big numbers. He can run, he can catch, and he can block. He can do it all. Raylan Edwards, we talked about. He's the consensus number 1 guy for people in the NFL and the media. Got size, competitive. What he has to do is eliminate those costly drops. Just go back to the Ohio State game for proof positive of that. You look at Cadillac Williams, you look at a guy who is a passionate football player, improved dramatically junior to senior year as a pass receiver out of the backfield, excellent between the tackles. Cedric Benson, complete back, Ronnie Brown. Don't forget Cedric. This is a kid, red zone runner, initial defender, never brings him down. This is a kid whose body of work, total body of work in Texas, outstanding. I know about the comparisons of Ricky Williams. I think they're unfair. 6, Alex Smith. You know about a quarterback, not number 1 on the board, but if the 49ers define him number 1, he's my number 1 quarterback. Kid's smart, accurate, mobile, and only 20 years of age. Go to the number 7 overall, you go to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers at Cal. Like I said, separation, I got 1-6 and 1-7. So if Aaron Rodgers drops, it's not because of ability. I know he's a little mechanical. Aaron debates that with me all the time. But he is a guy who does not let the ball at the ground much. He's accurate. He steps up hard in that pocket. He doesn't back off. He's tough. I like Aaron Rodgers a lot, and somebody's going to get themselves a heck of a steal if he falls down the board a bit.
You came out of the garage in 5th gear, you know that? You're unbelievable. It is Christmas. Let's kind of put a bow about what we're going to see here today. We are probably, if it is Alex Smith, going to have the 5th straight year in which a quarterback is going to be drafted number 1. You talked about those running backs. You saw Mel identify several of them. We're going to have probably 3 go in the top 7 or 8. Remember, we haven't had a running back go in the top 10 since LaDainian Tomlinson in 2001, so that's a little different. There are a couple other wide receivers, 2 that Mel mentioned, and there are 3 bona fide top corners, not to mention Minnesota playoff team, San Diego playoff team, Dallas and Washington, hopeful playoff teams. Those 4 teams have 2 first-round picks. We'll open it up when we return to New York. The 2005 NFL Draft about to kick off.
Hold the safety, keep it in. Red,
Madden NFL Next Gen. Product not yet rated. EA Sports. It's in the game. Now you know the names and faces of the NFL Draft. Learn the inside story with NFL Network on Demand. Check out exclusive profiles of the top players from the draft anytime you want, including stats, college highlights, and exclusive video breakdowns of NFL Combine workouts. At the touch of a button, NFL Network on Demand is your source for tomorrow's NFL stars. Only with NFL Network on Demand. ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Welcome back to New York, our new site of the draft, the Jacob Javits Center, but the site of the commissioner since 1989 to open the draft would be Paul Tagliabue. He has the honors once again to kick things off.
Good afternoon to football fans here and around the nation. Welcome to the Jacob Javits Convention Center in New York City and to the 2005 National Football League College Draft. The first selection in the 2005 NFL Draft belongs to the San Francisco 49ers, who are now on the clock.
Well, we're official. The 49ers are on the clock, which they essentially have been since the end of last season. They have not, since the common draft, had the first pick overall. They have it, and such an integral part of our NFL coverage week in, week out, month in, month out is our Susie Kalber, who's with some of the top players in the nation. Sue's in the green room. Hi.
Hi, Chris, and thank you. Alex Smith has been on the NFL roller coaster ride. What was the first thought that went through your head when you woke up this morning?
I think just how fortunate I am. This has been a dream of mine ever since I was a little kid. Dream of everyone, and to be able to be here and actually be a part of this is truly amazing. And I've just been really blessed. So,
between last night and this morning, what have you and your agent Tom Condon heard from the Niners?
It's tough. I actually spoke with Coach Nolan last night. We didn't specifically talk about anything, but it was a positive conversation, and I feel good about it. Obviously, I love the coaching staff of San Francisco, and it would be a great honor to be their selection, but who knows?
What did he say?
I just kind of checking on me, seeing how I was going, asking how I was doing and how this all was treating me. So,
how much control do you feel you have in all of this?
I feel like I don't. I mean, this isn't the recruiting process. They're making the decision. Obviously, I hope I've shown what kind of person I am, what kind of quarterback I am, and what I'm going to do in the future. And hopefully they've seen that in me. So,
what are your feelings about trying to get a deal done, get signed?
Oh, absolutely. That is very important to me to get into camp. I think to get to work. As much fun as this draft stuff might seem, I'm ready to get to work. I'm ready to be part of a team, and really get some stuff done. So.
And what's going on inside your stomach right now?
I'm anxious. I'm really anxious and excited. I've been waiting for this day my whole life, dreaming about it, and it's here, and I'm just trying to take it in. So.
Enjoy the ride.
Thank you very much.
Chris.
Susie, Alex, thank you very much. And you can understand why a young man would say, well, I want to get to work. He finished college in, 2.5 years? He's not even 21 until May. He can't even rent a car in the state of Utah until he turns 21, and yet he could buy a couple cars if and when he gets signed. So you can understand why he would not want to sit out. But yet, now it's just interesting. I'm just going to go to our publication, our Bible all the time, the Mel Kiper Draft Report, coming out later and later every year, I might add. Thanks, Mel. You have a guy that didn't even play last year, number one. What gives?
You have a decision to make when you rate players, because you say, okay, who's the guy that's going to be number one on your board? And I looked at it and I said, okay, see some question marks with some of the guys below him, and you look at a guy like Mike Williams. Had he played this year, it would have been a spectacular season with Leinart and company, and I think he would have been the clear-cut number one. This is a kid who averaged more yards per catch, 14.7 to 14.1 over Rayland Edwards, had 95 receptions in 2003. The same year, Kerry Colbert had 69. Kerry Colbert was a second-round pick. Did a real good job in Carolina this past year. I really like Mike Williams. I think this is a kid who's going to be uncoverable because of the situation in the NFL with the rules, limit the physical ability of a cornerback to be physical. I look at Mike Williams as a guy who I think can come in without pressure, because he's going to go probably down the line just a bit. Certainly not going to be 1, 2, or 3 overall. And I think he's going to be a heck of a player, and he's going to be a steal. But on my board, and I'm one of the 32, on the 49ers board, the number one player should be Alex Smith.
Well, that's another story we'll be following. Mike Williams didn't play at all last year, and so therefore we know he's fresh. We know he's fresh. He has to take a lot of hits. But how fresh is he going to be? Well, the first pick is fresh. The 49ers. They're probably entertaining the phones out there in Santa Clara, California. But the Niners set to start their way back up. We'll be back.
Size, intelligence, my arm.
Alex Smith will score! Touchdown, Utah!
If value's what you're after, you better pick me.
Downtown today, temperatures are going
Record, that's a far cry to 2-14. You want a guy who's used to winning. You're trying to build winning. If indeed he stays right there and they get this done, and I think they will, not necessarily in the next 10 minutes, but I think they will. This will start the new feel for the foot. They picked the guy, they signed him. We're going to do things right. This will be a heck of a chance to make a statement, big and little picture, I think.
Well, you can talk about a winning quarterback, Chris. You mentioned high school, 25-1 over that 2-year period. You talk about a guy at Utah, what he did, leading them to an undefeated season, getting Steve Savoy and Paris Warren heavily involved. One thing about, you look at a guy like Alex Smith in that shotgun for Urban Meyer, former head coach at Utah. Urban Meyer now with the Florida Gators. That's something adapting to being under center that he's going to have to work on in the National Football League more.
You know, when I've spoken with Mike Nolan, the 49ers coach, he has been implicit that this pick, the top pick of the draft, and the quarterback will be the face of the franchise, probably even beyond how long Mike Nolan coaches. He could be the face of the franchise for 10 to 15 years, and that's a big factor.
And look at the size, and I think that's something where he's filling out that 6'4.5" frame, and you look at a guy who's 217 pounds now, be 225 probably a year and a half from now. Look at the record. Look at what he's been able to do throughout his career, high school, college. He wins football games. He's the kind of kid, only 20 years of age, mature beyond his years. As I said, and this cannot be understated, smartest player ever to go from college to pro, processes information so quickly. An offensive coordinator's dream, because he's an extension of the coordinator, of the head coach. No mistakes are going to be made in translation with Alex Smith. Accuracy, poise. You look at the ability in terms of, hey, things break down. He has mobility. Now, he's not going to be Michael Vick, but he did rush for almost 600 yards in that Utah offense and spread the field so successfully. And as I said, you're going to see both the wide receivers at Utah, Steve Savoy and Paris Warren, probably be selected in this process. So you got a lot of guys involved in that offense. It was a complex scheme, and you look at Alex Smith. He may not have been number one on my board, but for the 49ers as an organization, I thought he was the best quarterback in this draft, slightly over Aaron Rodgers, and that's the direction, knowing the quarterback need the way it was, that they had to go.
Well, and now the pattern continues. 5 straight years, as we talked about, with the quarterback number one, Alex joining Eli Manning last year, Carson Palmer the year before, David Carr the year before that, Michael Vick the year before that, and 2 years before that, Tim Couch. The year before that, Peyton Manning. So it wasn't always this way. The quarterbacks went one all the time, but 7 of 8 have the last 8 number one picks have been quarterbacks. So a relieved Alex Smith, relieved very early with our Susie again, Susie Calvin.
Well, 2.5 years ago, Alex Smith was a third-string quarterback. What did it take to get here?
You know, I'd be lying if I said I got here by myself. There's been a lot of great people around me, my family, my teammates, my coaches, and friends. And I worked really hard for this. I truly believe that I came a long way, and I'm just so thankful to be here, and I'm ready to work. So
everybody keeps talking about how smart. Well, you came to college with so many credits that you graduated in 2 years, but how does that translate into being a great quarterback and now NFL quarterback?
I think just the habits help. You know, my preparation, the time I put in the film room, the time I put in on the practice field, understanding defenses, understanding schemes, and I truly think that's going to help me at the next level, absolutely.
What do you expect the journey is like from here?
Oh, pretty crazy for the next few days, but I'm so excited to be part of this organization. Ready to get to work. I truly believe they're heading in the right direction, and it's great to be part of this. So,
congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Chris?
Susie, Alex, congratulations. 1979, the Niners had the number one pick. They had traded it away to Buffalo, who ended up choosing Tom Cousino. So, 1954, Dave Parks, number one overall pick, San Francisco. 2005, Alex Smith, number one overall pick, San Francisco.
Some brewers look out their windows and see smokestacks. Some don't.
Rocky Mountain High, Colorado.
ESPN's exclusive coverage of the NFL Draft is presented by Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. And in part by the all-new midsize H3 in dealership soon. And Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40.
That's all right.
Well, look at that shot. There's Alex with the smile that the proverbial could light up a room with family, friends. I mean, it's like a team photo up there. They're like 40 folks, the Smith family and friends, and they made the trip, and they're just all happy. Are they as happy in San Francisco? I would have to think. Let's go out to Sal Paolantonio with the new head coach. Sal?
Thanks a lot, Boomer. Mike Nolan, you made that first pick. It was right down to the wire, as you said it would go. Why Alex Smith?
Well, as we've said all along, with every pick today, and in particular the very first pick, we want to pick guys that we want this football team to look like. And Alex Smith is what we want this football team to look like. He's very competitive. He's got leadership skills. He's a hard worker. He's very competitive. With those things in mind, that's the primary reason.
There's been rumors circulating that you might trade Alex Smith to another team. Will you keep him?
We will keep Alex Smith. Yes, we will.
What will you do in the rest of the draft now?
Well, we'll continue, like I said, to identify the players that we want, that we feel we want our football team to look like. We'll continue on that path. Obviously, our next pick is the first pick in the second round, so it's pretty close to a 1 as we see it. That might be a pick that some other people are interested in at that point. It typically is, and that's why I say it. Year after year, that's still a lot of pick that people go after. And if they are, then we'll see if it's worth us to make a move. But we certainly have about 4 or 5 players in mind that if they're there, we might very well just stick with our guy.
Now, Alex Smith is in New York. You got any message for your new quarterback?
Well, as I asked him on the phone a minute ago, are you ready to go to work? And he assured me I'm ready to go to work.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mike. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Back to you, Boomer.
All right, Sal, Coach Nolan, thank you very much. And so, well, it doesn't say, it's not like we were sitting here at this time last year when the picture was taken. Here's the Charger jersey, but that's not the way it's going to work out, or is it?
No, Boomer. I think there's been a lot of speculation this could be a repeat of Eli Manning's scenario from a year ago. It's not. The camps for Rayland Edwards, the Michigan receiver, and for Aaron Rodgers, the Cal quarterback, got word this morning that it is Alex Smith and Alex Smith to keep. So I think the drama's over, and Mike Nolan does in fact have the quarterback that he wants.
All right, so Torrey, so now you know. You want him to take his time figuring out how to play quarterback, don't you? You play him twice every year.
I hope it takes him 3 or 4 years to finally catch on. We have to see this guy twice a year, but like Coach said, a new coach. It's a new coach. It's a new attitude. It's a new quarterback, a new face of the San Francisco 49ers. I think the 49er fans should be very happy, very pleased with this pick. And I'm sure Alex Smith will go in there and play very well, but I hope it takes him a minute, though.
You know, I wonder if, and while we're right here with Miami on the clock, I wonder, they have Tim Rattay off injured, but does Alex Smith like Peyton Manning, for example? Does he take the first snap of the year for San Francisco? I guess they'll look.
No, that's their intent, I think, is to have Alex Smith start the season as a quarterback if he's ready. Only if he's ready.
Well, Miami, with 5 minutes left on the clock, now Miami has their with a new head coach, with Nick Saban, who has long awaited his time, such a great college coach. And now we take a look at the green room. Ronnie Brown, is it running back? Is it Rayland Edwards? Is it quarterback? Is it? I mean, they have a lot. Obviously, you don't pick second without having a lot of needs.
And not a lot of picks. Certainly a Surtain trade obviously brought him a 2. You look at not having the early 2 that went to Philadelphia for A.J. Feely, but I think you look at the Dolphins running back, quarterback. You look at wide receiver. They have Chambers and Booker. Not a lot after that. So they have a lot of need areas. Nick Saban, fresh out of the collegiate ranks. Rest assured, he wants to have as many choices in this draft as possible.
Well, unlike San Francisco, you said Miami has few picks. San Francisco has many picks. But Miami, this is one that could shape where they go for a long, long time. Guy that's been a long-time observer of the Miami Dolphins in South Florida, our Hank Goldberg. Hello, Hank.
Boomer, a lot of possibilities here. By the way, they have their second pick back in the trade for Patrick Surtain from Kansas City. And they are talking to teams about trading out. But Nick Saban said he wants value. That's a word he uses a lot. If he trades out, and the player and their point system must match the spot they trade into. If they don't trade out, he will go for need over, or he would go, for best player over need. That player has to have the best long-term value for the team, as he says. I asked him, well, what about running back? That's a need. He says they could go 3 directions as far as that's concerned. One, they've talked with Ricky Williams. They will talk again with Ricky when he comes back from Timbuktu or wherever he is right now. I think it's India. They could also go free agent later on or pick a running back later on in the draft. You know, we also talked about how he's been known in some circles as a guy who likes to run and win with defense. He said, hey, when I had Rohan Davey, we threw all the time at LSU. He likes to throw the football. So when you think about the best player available, think in those terms.
Well, we do know that unless the Dolphins make trades, they have this pick, and then they don't pick to the 3rd round. So Nick Saban, who knows these college players, that's for darn sure. And, well, could a phone call already be made? We'll be back.
What's going on? What's going on? Hey, Melissa. Hey, Melissa. I'd love to. No. Melissa, what's going on, Melissa?
The Pro Bowl corner to Kansas City. So in that, they did get a 2nd round pick. So they will be busy, but they're busy right now. Miami, 2nd overall pick.
We're going to
With
see.
the 2nd selection in the 2005 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Ronnie Brown, running back, Auburn.
Well, among other things, Nick Saban knows him darn well, having coached in that league for a long, long time. SEC football, he saw these Auburn running backs up front and center.
Really did. You look at a neat area. It was number 1 on the Dolphins in terms of a running back. They had to prioritize that. Obviously, moving down could have been in the cards. Were they going to get value for that pick? Obviously, Nick Saban didn't feel it was enough to pass on the 2nd opportunity in the draft to take a Ronnie Brown, who he knows very well, coaching at LSU in the SEC, seeing Ronnie Brown, Cadillac Williams, all those other great players in the SEC. You look at Ronnie Brown. The criticism was, well, he never started. It was all about Cadillac. Cadillac was the guy. Ronnie Brown was complimentary. Go back to 2002. Cadillac was hurt last 6 games with the fibula. In stepped Ronnie Brown. During that season, he put up over 1,000 yards, averaged almost 6 yards a carry, and scored 13 touchdowns for it. This kid proved that year as a full-time back he could get the job done.
And as you know, Nick Saban is well acquainted with Ronnie Brown of Auburn because they played in the same Southeastern Conference. And I got to tell you, Nick Saban shows he already understands what the draft is about. The word for the last 3 or 4 days, it's Rayland Edwards, it's Rayland Edwards, it's Rayland Edwards. Why? Because Nick Saban certainly wanted to trade out of that spot if he could get a couple of value picks for him. But where's their greatest need? Yes, they need a quarterback. Yes, they could need a receiver, but it really is at running back, where certainly Ricky Williams is a huge question mark.
Well, not only is it a question mark, it's a pall over the franchise the way it is right now. Not their fault, but a pall over the franchise. You're changing what, okay, they had a big-time back who carried 35 times a game, and now they had nobody that could do that. So Ronnie Brown, now look, he didn't, quote, start. Can he carry the ball 25 times?
That's the question, Chris. That's something he's going to have to answer at the pro level. Can he be the main guy that can carry it 25, 30 times a game? But you're watching a kid here. You look at a kid 6 foot and change, 230 to 235 pounds with 4.45 speed. Look at the ability here to catch the football down the field, not just on screens and swing passes. Look at a kid here that can block. Talking about getting Cadillac and Ronnie Brown on the field at the same time. They were able to do that at Auburn this past season. This is a kid who was very productive when he had the opportunity in a lot of different ways. Running with the football, catching it, adequate blocker. Actually, of the Benson, Cadillac, Ronnie Brown threesome there, that triumvirate, Ronnie Brown probably was the most questionable blocker. That's an area he needs to upgrade a bit. But I think the durability concern is there. Will he be able to hold up? He had some minor nicks at Auburn over the long haul when he's the main guy, Torrey.
Well, he will find out. We will find out quickly. With Saban being familiar with this guy, he will get him the football 20 to 25 times a game.
And the question is, Mort, I want to ask you this. The chart that everybody goes by, you got to get value on the chart. Can you go off the chart at some point and trade down if you get the opportunity?
Well, I think you can if you feel like you're still going to get somebody that you really love. And I will say this much about Ronnie Brown. You know, you talk about his receiving skills. John Gruden, the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, told me he thinks Ronnie Brown has the best hands in this draft, receiver or any other position. So that tells you the totality of the game.
A lot of screens, a lot of work for Ronnie Brown here in the next couple of
The only thing I will say, guys, is when you have 3 backs bunched together and you have the same grade, trading down's got to be enticing when you know you can get one of those 3. Put them on at, pick one, you're going to get a good one. So to take one at 2, obviously those deals and those offers weren't enough for Nick Saban to pull the trigger.
Well, now the Browns have Rayland Edwards, and certainly they are listening to any offers.
Well, look, Ronnie Brown, you said Nick Saban saw him up close and personal. Well, here he is. Here's Auburn against LSU last year. And this is Brown along with Cadillac Williams. And Well, Nick had a tough time getting their hands on him, didn't he, Bill?
A lot of guys had a tough time with Ronnie Brown. He's talking about big, with power, and he's not east-west. He doesn't waste time to back. He's north-south. You're one whole runner. He doesn't put a lot of pressure on the offensive line. Give him a crease, and he's going to go.
And as a human being, great.
Tremendous.
You're going to learn about him right now. He's in our green room with our Susie Calvert. Suze?
Oh, Ronnie, you spent your entire career at Auburn battling for the #1 spot. What motivated you to come back and play a senior season?
It was a lot of things that motivated me. First of all, I wanted to be a first-round guy. I feel like I had the talent to be capable of being a first-round guy. And graduation and just that love for the game and that atmosphere that college creates. And just get another experience at that and see where I go from there. I was going to go in the offseason. I did everything I could to make sure everything was going to go well for the season as far as workouts and on and off the field. So it definitely paid off for me.
And why did you never gripe about carries?
I think it's just something my parents instilled in me. I just character. I made the decision to go to Auburn, so all the situations that came along with it, I was going to have to deal with. And one of those situations was playing backup, so I was going to have to make the best of the situation.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now let's go to Sal Paolantonio in San Francisco.
Susie, you know the Cleveland Browns are on the clock, and I just want to get you up to date on what I'm hearing behind the scenes here in San Francisco. We heard Mike Nolan say in the interview with me that he would keep Alex Smith, but a source with knowledge of the 49ers' intentions told me a little while ago that they would entertain trade offers from the Cleveland Browns if the Browns wanted to trade for Alex Smith, and then the Niners would go down to 3 and take Aaron Rodgers. But probably that was only the case if Rayland Edwards was taken #2 by the Miami Dolphins. But still, the Niners would talk to Cleveland if Cleveland wanted to trade for Alex Smith. When I talked to Phil Savage, the GM of the Cleveland Browns, he told me that Rayland Edwards was the #1 guy on his board, that he was an NFL player right now, and then unless a team blew him away with a trade offer, he would take Rayland Edwards at 3. Boomer?
Well, so if that's the case, Sal, everything would remain status quo. Just to clean up, we told you this would be the first time since 2001 that a running back went in the top 5. It hasn't been in the top 2 for 10 years. Kajana Carter went #1 overall, the oft-injured Kajana Carter in 95. And somebody Torrey might remember in 1994 with the 2nd overall pick, Indianapolis took Marshall.
Very familiar with that guy. A terrific back. A very good back, and I talk to Marshall all the time, and he tells me about the durability of backs, being able to, prolong your career by taking less hits. So, Marshall Faulk is definitely a good back, and these young guys, Ronnie Brown, Cedric Benson, they can definitely learn from a guy like Marshall Faulk.
But you know why I brought those two up? And just a reminder to everyone at home, this is never an exact science. And look, every one of these guys are great college players. Every one of these guys charts, they should be great in the pros. But look, the 2 names I mentioned, Marshall Faulk, maybe a Hall of Fame career. Kajana Carter, we hardly knew ye. So, it just shows you that even up at that level, same thing with the quarterbacks. Peyton Manning 1, Ryan Leaf 2. So, now here come the Cleveland Browns, the 3rd team on the clock with a new coach. Romeo Crennel for long in the shadows, but a defensive aide de force to Bill Belichick, a big reason why the New England Patriots on defense have excelled and have won 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls, and of course with Bill throughout the years with New England, Jets, Giants, Romeo Crennel, his defensive credentials, extraordinary.
This is a big day for the Cleveland Browns because you start a new era with Romeo Crennel as the head coach, with Phil Savage as the general manager, and this is a franchise, since they've gone up and running as an expansion franchise, that has gotten virtually nothing out of their #1 picks. Of course, Kellen Winslow injured last year, but they have to have a big day today, and this has to be the right pick for them.
Well, before we try to understand Romeo Crennel, who is a soft-spoken man anyway, and in that assistant system, you don't hear much from him, but a couple guys who might know something about him are guys with some Super Bowl rings. That will be Mike Vrabel, Rodney Harrison. They're with our Andrea Kramer as part of our roundtable. Good afternoon, Andrea.
Good afternoon, Chris. Yes, we have a great roundtable this year. Once again, John Jansen from the Washington Redskins, Trent Green from the Kansas City Chiefs, and 5 Super Bowl rings between them, Rodney Harrison and Mike Vrabel. Your defensive coordinator, your entire tenure in New England, was Romeo Crennel. Who is this guy? What can you tell us that will give us some insight into who he is as a person?
Well, I think, first of all, you look at a guy with a lot of integrity, and he's a coach that can approach guys differently. He's got to coach me differently than he coaches Rodney, and I think he does a great job at that.
What comes to mind for you when you think of Rack, as you call him?
Well, everyone thinks he's a quiet, laid-back coach, but which is evidence when we played, not evidence when we played against the New York Jets. He got in Willie McGinnis's face, and he really challenged Willie McGinnis, and afterwards they hugged after the game, and it just shows that he's a very intense, fiery coach. He gets kind of swept under the rug because he's been an assistant for so many years, but Cleveland, they got themselves a great coach.
The great thing about the draft is it's always about projection. So let's project Romeo Crennel as a head coach. How will he be handling an entire team, do you think?
Well, it's going to be different. I mean, it's going to be a lot different for him to come in and say, present to a whole team, this is our package for this week. But he's done that with us, and he's listens to the players. He's done a good job saying, hey, I'll take your input, and I'll think about it, and we can use it or we won't use it. But, I mean, he's going to take that input.
And I think he's a player's coach. I think he communicates well with his players. The players respect him. I think it's definitely more responsibility dealing with the offense, defense, as well as the special teams. But Romeo, you describe him with one word, preparation. And he's always prepared. He's always ready for the next object that comes along, and he's definitely going to be a great coach.
He's already started to clean house, started to put his imprint on the Cleveland Browns. What kind of players are best suited to play for Romeo Crennel?
Well, I mean, I think you have to be tough, physical. You got to be a competitor. You got to go out there.
Smart.
Yeah, you got to be smart. I mean, he's going to throw a lot at you. You know, it's going to be something different every week. You're not just going to line up and do the same things week in and week out. He's going to present different things to the other team's offense.
Definitely. He's one of those guys that when I came in, he sat down and went over the playbook with me, and I said, oh, my God, how will I be able to learn all this stuff? And he just said, you know, be patient, make sure you study.
All right.
He still don't know it all.
There you go. Well, we do know it all in New York. Let's head back there right now.
Games. All right, Andrea and Patriots, I thought one of the most poignant moments of last year's Super Bowl was when Bill Belichick, Romeo Crennel, and Charlie Weiss had kind of a hug on the sidelines in the final minute of that game against Philadelphia, kind of for a moment thinking about what they've all accomplished together, and kind of they're all different ways. Charlie with Notre Dame, Romeo with the Cleveland Browns, and you know, he has certainly waited for his chance. And, of course, Belichick forging on with New England. So we heard the type of players that Mike Vrabel and Rodney Harrison said that Romeo would be looking at. Who are they, Mel?
Well, you look at what the Cleveland Browns need, Boom. They need, obviously, a wide receiver. You look at a quarterback. Trent Dilfer's the bridge to the young quarterback. Will they address that at some point? Obviously, wide receiver, skill position talent, and really talent overall. This is a team was the only National Football League club this past season without one legitimate star player. Everybody else had one or more. Cleveland had none. That's why Phil Savage is outstanding at evaluating personnel, one of the best in the business, and Romeo Crennel are now running the Browns organization. They need more ability. They need more talent, and they're going to get it now in Cleveland, and they need it. Kellen Winslow coming off that injury, he's got to be one of the main guys. They want a focal point to be at wide receiver to help out Winslow. They want to address that young quarterback. Trent will be the guy for now, but that's only for a year or so.
Well, Mel, of all the teams at the top three that I think would cheat the chart, so to speak, in other words, take a little less value than what that chart shows you should get for it, I've always thought it would be the Cleveland Browns, because Phil Savage is the general manager there. He needs a lot of players, needs to rebuild a defense. Yes, he needs a receiver. They had no receiver that caught at least 60 balls last season. But I really believe that if there's going to be a trade, I thought this would be a spot, because they need a lot of players on both sides of the football.
You know what? The Cleveland Browns have used many a high #1 pick since they became reincarnated, if you will, in the National Football League. And I think Gerard Warren and of course, Courtney Brown, and a #1 pick of somebody else, Dallas, Ebenezer Ekhoff. All these guys are now on Denver. I think every star player the Browns have had since, except Jim Brown and Leroy Kelly, are now on to the Denver Broncos. Since they've come back in the league, Butch Davis following Chris Palmer, they made the playoffs once, but they're a team going backwards, and so hopefully for them, starting back up. And Trent Dilfer right now is going to start their year at quarterback. So, do they look at a quarterback? Do they look at Aaron Rodgers? Are they a candidate to pick a quarterback early in the second round?
I think they are going to select a quarterback sometime today or on Sunday. So I don't think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers here. I don't think they're going to trade for Alex Smith, but I do expect them to take a quarterback. But they are quite comfortable with Trent Dilfer. Remember, Savage was in Baltimore when Dilfer won a Super Bowl there. They're going to go ahead and let him be the guy who passes the torch when they do get that quarterback on board.
We talk about personnel. It's not just on offense where they were woefully lacking in Cleveland. How about defense? Now a 3-4 scheme. Well, where's the personnel to run it? They added Gary Baxter and Brian Russell. The secondary has been assisted through that process of picking up players that have been in the league and are proven. The front seven on defense is a major problem area that they have to address on the first day of the draft as well.
That's right. We should be ready for surprises, too.
Well, we got about 30 seconds left for the pick is coming in now. They used just about their entire 15 minutes. And why not? And well, there's still maybe, I don't think it's a tough name to pronounce at the very top. Sometimes the card gets hung up on a pronouncer if Blake Brockermeyer or Carl Yastrzemski or somebody gets drafted like that.
That's exactly right.
But it's exciting. Just think of these coaches. You think of the day for the players. You know, they've waited all their life. Think of these three coaches.
With the third selection in the 2005 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Rayland Edwards, wide receiver, Michigan.
So I hate to say it's gone the way we wrote it down so far, huh? I hate to say it.
Well, when there aren't clearly defined top guys in a draft, you usually have some situation develop where they're not offering enough because there's not those elite players. Who's going to trade up to get them? We always said you have a seller, you need a buyer. And in order to make a deal, it takes two teams to get it done. And teams are reluctant to go more off the chart. I would go off the chart. Teams in the NFL are reluctant to do so.
Well, let's also remember, again, Savage came from the Baltimore Ravens organization. You always stay true to your board with the Ravens, and obviously Rayland Edwards was his top-rated player. He stayed true to that, even though if somebody had offered enough to make a trade, I think they would have taken it. But listen, as I said, no receiver with 60 catches last year. This is certainly a need and a great player.
You looked at Raylan quite a bit, Tori. What do you think his chances are of coming in and making an impact this year?
I think this is a huge pick for Cleveland. He will get balls right now. They have nobody to get the ball to. So he will get balls right now. I think he'll come in and make a tremendous impact for the Cleveland Browns right away. He's a big, strong kid. He can run. He does a great job of going up for the ball. He can go across the middle. He's big enough to do that. So I think this is a great pick for the Cleveland Browns, and I think he will make an impact right away.
And playing in the Big Ten in Michigan, I mean, he understands what the weather's going to be like in Cleveland and in that division.
No question about it. You look at Rayland Edwards, and it may sound like I've been bashing Bray. It's not the case. I had to separate Mike Williams and Rayland Edwards. It was a hard call. I went with Mike Williams. He's still on the board. Rayland isn't. He's a Cleveland Brown. He's got Kellen Winslow, tight end. Now you add Rayland Edwards to that mix. You look at a kid, 6'3", 210, big, competitive, works hard. He's a great kid. I had a chance to talk to he and his father, Stanley Edwards, here in New York. Loves to play the game, works at it hard. And you talk about some of those drops. It's like a home run hitter. You're going to get strikeouts, but you'll get home runs. You'll get a lot of touchdowns with Rayland. When do those drops occur? Are they drive killers? Do they drop one in the red zone? Where do they occur? Are they inconsequential drops? Any drop can be inconsequential, but he did have a problem in that area. Ohio State game, huge effort with 10-plus catches, but the key drop when they were getting momentum, Michigan was to get back in the football game around midfield, the drop, then the punt. They never seized the opportunity to get back in that football game. And if Rayland can increase the concentration level, it's not about hand-eye coordination. He's phenomenal in that area. It's not about natural pass receiving skills. He is unmatched in that area. It's about concentration, and he knows that. I'll tell you, he's not defensive for you about criticism. He handles criticism well. You bring it up with him, he doesn't challenge you, say, no, you're wrong. He says, I know, I got to work on that. It's about concentration. Can a receiver, Tori, who dropped some catchable balls because of concentration problems in college, improve that at the pro level?
I think so. I think the quarterback, the receiver coach would have to continue to make that a point for Rayland Edwards to work on his consistency of catching the football. And he's a great kid. He likes to learn. He wants to be good. You talk to him, he wants to be the best receiver in the National Football League. He wants to be a Pro Bowler right now. So he's going to make the necessary changes and steps to be that, and he will be a better ball catcher.
Well, I think in terms of everybody says, okay, what about this selection? I myself would take Mike Williams, but I'll say that about every pick from now on because he's number one on my board. So I'm not going to keep bringing up Mike Williams. You know how I feel about him. Bill Savage, who I trust and I defer to Phil, great evaluator. He said Rayland was the best player in this draft. Rayland Edwards, obviously, to this football team with Kellen Winslow, and then you bring in a 6'3", 210-pound Rayland Edwards, and you got Trent Dilfer as the bridge. Is it Luke McCown, Josh Harris, two young quarterbacks in Cleveland, or do they add a quarterback in this draft? Somebody's going to be the heir apparent to Trent Dilfer. As I said, he's just going to get you to that young quarterback. But this year, to get better, they needed talent. They're going to address the front seven on defense down the road, starting in round 2 more than likely.
Again, we're looking at a wonderful picture you just said. These big family portraits. 25. These young men have worked so long for this, and what a proud day for mom, dad, brother, sis. We'll be back.
Zach Thomas has always had doubters, and he's always proved them wrong. The National Powers didn't want him, so he went to Texas Tech. And what did he do? Only dominate. Huge hits, big plays, All-American 2 years in a row. And then came the NFL Draft, picked in the 5th round, number 154. They said he was a little slow and definitely too short. There were 153 players better than him? Are you kidding? The Dolphins put him in the lineup. What did he do? Only dominate again. Leading tackler his rookie season and 7 times 6. Zach is everywhere. Miami becomes a dominant defense. He goes to 5 straight Pro Bowls.
The draft matters. You've got to go deep. The NFL Draft presented by Coors Light. Coverage continues today at 5:30 on ESPN.
Not bad. My turn.
Timing. It's everything. CTS. Cadillac. Breakthrough.
Visit your local Cadillac dealer for this attractive offer and join the Hot Button event. Residency restrictions apply.
Win 1, they call you a champion. Win 4, they call you a dynasty. What do they call you when you win 14 years in a row?
Offense that the defense must stop. Cedric Benson would be the kind of guy that they'd love to have.
But over 1,100 carries in college. Can he keep up that durability in the pros? Chicago is on the clock. Let's go back to Chris Berman in New York. Boom.
All right, Trey and guys, thank you very much. The Bears are about to make their pick, the year 2 of the Lovie Smith era. And we'll wait to see if it is Benson. But look, in that weather, I know they have Thomas Jones, but they have to run the ball. They have to move the ball. Points, worst. Total yards a game on offense last year, the worst. Passing, the worst, because Grossman got hurt and they went through everybody this side of Billy Wade. Sacks, the worst. Offense, their defense is okay with Lovie. They made some very good draft picks last year, but they need to move the chains. And will Rex Grossman be a good quarterback? But that's a discussion for about 30 seconds. The Bears are theoretically off the clock, but the card is in. The Chicago Bears.
With the 4th selection in the 2005 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Cedric Benson, running back, Texas.
Now, this has been out there, and why not? Look, can I just, before you show the highlights, Mel, let the folks at home listen to this. 4 years at Texas. Last year, 326 carries. The year before, 258. The year before, 305 as a sophomore. The year before, 223. 1,100 plus carries for 1,800, 1,300, 1,300, 1,000, 5,500 yards. We met him last night. We talked to him a little bit, and I said, man, 1,100 carries, 5,000 yards? He goes, we're just getting started.
Chris, go back to high school. You know how many yards he rushed for in high school? 8,423 yards and 127 touchdowns. Obviously an emotional day. Happy day for Cedric Benson.
Look at him. I mean, as many times as he's carried the ball and has forced that sort of pain and emotion on guys trying to tackle him. This is clearly a young man that, give me the ball, let me show you what I can do. And he's overwhelmed by it. I mean,
the bottom line with the running back.
He has every right to be. I mean, and if I'm Lovie Smith and I see this young man crying, I know I got a passionate football player. I'm going to put the ball in his hands, and I'm going to tell him to carry the load for me. I like to see the tears. I like to see the passion. That's what it's all about, being in New York and actually hearing his name.
And even though we've been saying Bears and Benson, he's had to listen to a lot of critics in the last 2 weeks say he's the 3rd back. He's sliding in this draft. Well, he didn't slide in this draft. He's the 4th pick in it.
Yeah, 2nd running back overall. Morton, you look at Cedric Benson. I'm talking about the career in high school. We're talking about tread on tires. He's taking a lot of hits. I'll tell you what, he's been out there performing in touchdowns. And keep in mind athletic ability. He was drafted in the 12th round coming out of high school by the LA Dodgers. Opted to play football, obviously, at Texas. So a multi-skilled athlete. Touchdowns in the red zone. This kid, the initial defender, never brings him down. Great leg strength. You see it here. The power, 5'10 and a half, 222 pounds, and even stronger. And he plays like he's 240. You watch this kid, you would think he's about 240, 245. I look at touchdowns. As a freshman, 13.
Not just the old handle jiggle. It's the oldest trick in the book.
Don't tighten the screw up too tight or you'll crack the porcelain.
Okay. Thanks, Tim. And don't forget to fix that chair.
Ace, the helpful place.
Tu corazón.
Our biggest celebration ever, gang. I wish we could do something really special.
Mickey, be careful. I wish we could do something sort of unexpected. Guys, you really shouldn't.
I wish we could bring in new attractions from all around the world.
Soaring, Cinderella-bration, the motor action stunt show, and more are now arriving from Disney parks around the world. Visit DisneyWorld.com for more about the happiest celebration on Earth.
How'd that happen? When you wish upon, come on, do I have to spell it out for you?
Your life is all about the decisions you make. Getting treatment for my depression was the best decision I ever made. There's help out there. Why live with depression when maybe you could live without it?
Can hot tubs this luxurious only cost $2 a day? Thermospas can. They're lavish yet cost less because they come to you directly from us. Own a luxurious hot tub affordably. Just call and we'll send our DVD plus our complete brochure, both free with no obligation. Call now and we'll deliver and install your thermospas for free too. Thermospas, luxurious hot tubs made affordable. Call today 1-800-665-3399.
So, where are we going on vacation?
There's more to a Williamsburg vacation than you may have thought. Find out for yourself at buschgardens.com.
Otheum.
I want you to choose several of your best men, ones who you trust above all others. Separate them from the rest before we withdraw from here.
As you wish.
Send them to the reservoir in the Habanya Erg. Have them collect the water of life we've hidden there.
Muad'Dib, I don't understand. Those are changed waters. Hidden there in case something should happen to the Reverend Mother.
Have the men find a pre-spice mass. As large as possible. Have them plant the waters above the mass. And wait for my orders.
Do you realize what you're asking me to do?
The Baron is mistaken.
Fremen?
There have been reports. Only a few were investigated, according to Harkonnen documents. Cost to profit too high, apparently. Many Thopters were lost. Even smugglers won't venture there.
Send a light attack force immediately. I want ground reconnaissance. Perhaps this Muad'Dib thinks he can continue to attack us, then retreat to the wilderness where we dare not follow. Well, I'm about to strangle his options.
Let all Fremen who pass here pause and pay homage to the shrine of Duke Leto Atreides and all those who've died in the service of justice.
Gurney?
seen what you've seen, Paul. I know what's coming. What you're about to let loose, not just here on Arrakis, but across the entire universe.
I'm powerless to stop it.
Are you?
A terrible purpose awaits us, Mother. This vast organism we call humanity is about to reinvent itself from the ashes of its own complacency. The sleeper has awakened. Anything that tries to stop it will be crushed.
Even the innocent.
There are no innocents anymore.
Your father would never have spoken this way.
No, I'm not my father.
You are his son.
More than his son. Much more. Thanks to you. Take a good look at me, Mother. See something I learned after I took the water of life. Look into my eyes. Look back through them into my blood. Harkonnen blood. Flowing in mine. It flows from you.
I won't believe it.
Who is your father? Tell me.
You know I can't.
Who?
I don't know. I don't know. I have never known.
Because they hid it from you.
Because they took me when I was an infant. Raised me in the Bene Gesserit ways. Like all the others before and since. None know their mothers. Or their fathers.
The Baron Harkonnen, Mother. You're his daughter. The product of a clever seduction. The handiwork of your precious Bene Gesserit breeding programs. I'm his grandson. They wanted to control things. They couldn't control you. You changed everything. You had a son, and now I'm here. The one they were seeking. But I've arrived before my time, and they're just beginning to realize it.
They're coming.
What if? What is it?
Our son is dead.
They got through the earthquake,
Is it over?
but now they must survive the aftershocks. Alias's Jennifer Garner stars in the sci-fi premiere of Aftershock, Earthquake in New York, this Saturday starting at 7. Sponsored by Cheez-It. This Wednesday, an NBC event.
All the signs and symbols are currently in place for the end of days.
Time magazine raves it has the intrigue of the Da Vinci Code. It's cinematic, it's unique and riveting.
I'm all for believing.
Revelations, NBC Wednesday at 9/8 Central.
From the celebrated best-selling novel, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
What is this thing?
It's the guide. It's got everything you need to know to survive in the universe.
Nothing you've experienced can prepare you for hitchhiking across the galaxy. Don't leave Earth without The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Rated PG. Starts April 29th.
It's only little on the outside. Meet the surprisingly big Chevy Aveo. With the surprisingly big 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. All for under 10 grand. Chevy Aveo, an American revolution.
Have you pushed the hot button yet? See your local participating Chevy dealer today.
If you think all batteries are the same, consider this. When the Rocky Mountain Rescue Group needs light to save lives, they trust Duracell. Out there or right here at home. Duracell, trusted everywhere.
It's all about the O. And the O is all about the codes. Sometimes it's all about the outdoors. It's all about the office. It's all about the home and books, music, and videos. Then again, on occasion, it's all about the gold. Save on thousands of products at Overstock.com. It's all about the O.
Looks like you're enjoying a quality meal at a casual dining restaurant for about $8.
Oh no, I'm much smarter than that.
So you got the same quality meal for half the price at KFC?
That's genius. I know.
Get a breast meal, 2-piece meal, or 3-strip meal for only $4 each. And save even more when you feed the whole gang with a 10-piece family meal from KFC. At less than $4 a person, you got to be the smartest family around.
Yeah, we know.
Your dollar goes further at KFC.
Buy it on DVD. What if you could see a crime before it happened? Now, there are no more secrets. No one told us how to turn them from Suspect Zero. Buy it today on DVD. Rated R.
Isn't it time for a more productive meeting? Microsoft Office Live Meeting, the service that gives you the power to meet with 2 to thousands from virtually anywhere. See for yourself with a free trial. You can present to clients around the globe, train employees in multiple locations, even launch a new product. All with just a PC and an internet connection. It's web conferencing at its best, from the company determined to make it even better.
Doesn't go your way, your TV will, thanks to Comcast Digital Cable. TV is now on your terms.
Summertime at UMass Boston.
When I decided to go to UMass Boston, I knew I'd get a good education. But what I found was professors who did world-class research and knocked themselves out to help me learn.
UMass Boston is a great place to learn.
You find a lot of students that are very focused, know what they want.
I love being a student here at UMass Boston.
Summertime at UMass Boston. Summer.umb.edu.
Will you look at that thing? I count 9 levels.
The fools brought the old palace with them.
My dear Emperor, I'm about to shatter your sanity. Time to let them know I'm here.
The Sardaukar captain, alive and unharmed as you ordered.
I'm about to set you free. And you must take this with you.
These are terms for surrender.
They killed my son.
I can't do this.
You have no choice. Don't be afraid. Good. Clean him up. Give him one of the Sardaukar uniforms we've taken. Full rank insignia. Let him face his master with dignity.
You're mad! Do you know that?
After you return with the Emperor's answer, then we can discuss who is mad.
The arrogance! The utter lunacy!
Your Majesty, if I may suggest, the time has come to loose the forces of the Empire against this scum.
Ah, shut your mouth. It's you I have to thank for this mess. You and your hapless family, Baron.
I really don't think, Your Majesty, that this is the time to revisit old strategies.
I said quiet. So, he wants an answer, does he?
So, here he is, the fat Baron himself. He's not much, is he?
What is this? Some kind of midget?
My dear Baron, meet the sister of the one they call Muad'Dib.
Their shields are going up. It's time, Gurney.
Time for your brother to surrender as the price for your life.
No, I don't take orders from you, old man.
It's not wise to be so impudent, child. You do not want to feel the full force of my power.
I am beyond your power. Ask her.
Kill her! Kill her now! She's the abomination. The one the ancients warned us about.
What is this?
Look at her father. Can you not see it? She is the daughter of Duke Leighton. She is our Trades. Her brother is the Duke's son, Paul. He is the Muad'Dib.
Impossible.
Have faith. The end game has already been written. Do it, Gurney. Do it now!
Kill her! She's in my mind! Kill her! Kill her!
wall is breached, Your Majesty. Perimeter shields won't hold against that. We must fall back to space and reform.
Give her body to the storm!
Let the storm have what it can take.
I have her, Your Majesty!
Goodbye, grandfather. You've finally met the Atreides Gondrabar.